Hello friends, let me introduce myself to you. I'm Dr. Uttipan Mukherjee, an IUFS officer, working at the Ordnance Factory Board under Ministry of Defence, Government of India. I qualified the Civil Services Examination 2006 with History and Political Science as my optional papers, and I had an All India rank of 210. Well, today why I'm in front of the camera, basically because I want to introduce my book also to you, which I have written in the last year and was published just a couple of months back on 11 September 2017. This is the book that I'm going to introduce to you, Modern World History for Civil Services Mains Examination. You might be wondering that why another book on civil services world history paper. Well, I agree that there are a few books available in the market on this subject, but let me tell you that this book that I have penned down with all my experiences while appearing for the civil service examination and thereafter while interacting with many aspirants who qualified the civil services with history as an optional, was that we have several books in the market, like some foreign author books, some Indian author books, but we don't have a book which basically crystallizes down the various facets or basically the requirements of the civil service examination. Civil services, as we all know, desires a particular narration in your answers, crisp, to the point approach. I mean, you can study a lot on world history, there is no end to it. But for example, you need to focus while you are answering. So what we did in this book, by the way, this has been published by Access Publication and GK Publications. So it's a venture of Access, GK and myself. Now coming back to the contents of the book, this entire book has been divided into 12 chapters. 12 chapters strictly as per the syllabus of world history by UPSC. This book caters to not only history optional candidates for civil services, but also caters to general studies aspirants. For example, anybody writing UPSC in the mains with GS, in GS, has to have an understanding of world history in GS paper 1. So this book caters to both the set of aspirants, for civil service history optional aspirants as well as for non-history optional aspirants. The point over here is, what we have done in this book, as I told you, 12 separate chapters based on the syllabus of the UPSC. But in those chapters, we have focused on crisp, to the point narration. And along with that, we have solved all the questions post 2000 that have been asked in civil services UPSC, whether in GS or in optional. All the questions from 2000 onwards to 2016 have been solved in this book. Apart from that, many questions pre-2000 have also been catered to. The questions have either been completely solved or adequate hints have been provided to the question so that you can solve it on your own. Now, apart from these aspects of the book, the other two main important features in the book is that we have given sample questions with some answers, apart from these questions that have been asked in UPSC. Some workout questions after every chapter, at the end of each chapter in fact. And at the end of the book, we have a set of 100 questions which we call 100 pounders, which will, let me tell you my friends, which will test your mettle in world history. I mean, after going through this book, solving the questions, seeing the answers, if you solve the questions at the end, the so-called 100 pounder section, I'm sure will benefit and you can take up the final UPSC onslaught with much poise. Just to tell you about the efficacy of the book, this book was released on 11 September 2017 and it's available in Amazon and Flipkart and in other portals. You can have a look at that. In Amazon, in fact, there is a look inside feature also. You can have a look at the look inside feature and you could then try it out. As far as the efficacy of the book is concerned, as I was talking about, this year in civil services optional paper, history optional, there were 14 questions under the category of world history. And if you go through the questions and then look at the book, you will see 13 out of 14 questions have been directly dealt with in this book. Let me tell you, 13 out of 14. Only one question was not, dealt with in this book somehow. Nevertheless, that was a question on enlightenment. but that was somehow not catered to in this book. But 13 out of 14 questions have been catered by this book for this year's Civil Services World History paper. More than that, there was one question this year that was called that was on total war as far as World War I is concerned. That why World War I is a total war. That question has been solved in this book as a sample question in the World War chapter. So let me tell you, in a sense, this book stands out compared to other books in the market. That's for you to judge definitely, but this is what we feel. And we will request you to have a look at this book. These are some inside pages of the book which can give you some idea that what the book consists of. This book, as I said, will have several solved questions. This is the, some sample chapters I'm showing to you, some sample papers, some sample pages. And so, since this book is available in Amazon, in Flipkart, I would request you to go through them, go for this book, and let me tell you, you will not repent if you have this book in your shelf. Thank you.